Hello, today I'm going to unbox and assemble the airless paint sprayer from Vevor.
Insanely cool cars, tool reviews, and auto repair videos.
Before we assemble, we have to get everything out of the box, so let's get it out of the box and see what comes with this. Wow, right away we've got some wrenches. 19, 16. Oh, it's two that are both 16 and 19. There's an extension wand. A brush. This kind of looks like a measuring cup. A quick guide from Vevor. And actually it seems like a rather substantial instruction book. Alright, this is obviously the pickup tube that goes down in the paint, and I'm going to go set this in the sun because it's kind of a chilly day and I want it to warm up a little bit and get a little bit more flexible. A little caveat is that nothing rubber or plastic or any hoses or anything like that need to be in the sun any longer than they have to, because UV rays does degrade plastic and rubber. But flexing cold rubber and cold plastic can crack it and degrade it as well. So you find that happy balance. All right, there's a rubber cap on here, on there so tight I had to use a heat gun to soften it up so I could get it off. So it was definitely well protected from gunk getting in there. Now, using Teflon tape on a fitting like this doesn't directly help your seal, because the seal doesn't happen at the threads. If you look inside here, you'll see that the sealing occurs down here. So this is the convex and this is the concave, and right there in this edge right here is where the sealing occurs. What I like to do with these is use the very fine Scotch-Brite and make sure that the sealing surface down in there is free of burrs. It's polished up good with the Scotch-Brite. Same thing with here. Kind of stuff it down in there, wiggle it around. Sure there's nothing in there. Then take just a tiny bit of petroleum jelly. Just get not a glob of it, because you don't want this mixing with the paint. Just enough to where it'll transfer from your finger to the surface. That way this and this can wiggle around and seat against each other just right. Then I apply Teflon tape to the threads, going clockwise, being careful not to let any of my Teflon get in between here and there. So don't want any overlap on the edge there. Let all the excess go toward the back. I'm also wrapping it clockwise, so that when I'm turning the fitting on the hose clockwise, it's going in the same direction as the Teflon tape. And I don't know if you can see this, but there's ever so slightly a little bit right there in the way. So I'm not going to use the pocket knife to push that up because I don't want to scratch the sealing surface. So use my fingernail. Push that up out of the way and roll it over towards the threads. Again, to make sure I don't have any Teflon tape or anything between that sealing surface and this sealing surface down inside. When I cut the hose loose from the straps, I want to make sure that I have my blade facing away from the hose so I don't cut the hose. The suction hose, which is much more flexible now since it sat out in the sun for a couple of minutes, goes down here. And we've got another one of these caps. I didn't have to use the heat gun on that one. Okay, it's saying here on this sticker to use the pin to push the inlet valve ball for easy priming every time before install of the suction hose. And can you see that little picture? It's talking about this pin right here. Let's just get it out. Right there's the pin. Right here, let's see if I can get it to where you can see the ball on the camera. Oh, well, I can see the ball down in there. I don't know if you can see that on the camera or not, but there's a ball there. And this pin is for pushing in there. You can feel it. And it easily moves. Moves easily. It doesn't seem like that's going to be necessary until after you've used it a few times and maybe you didn't clean it out well enough and a little bit of paint was right there between the ball and it gets kind of sticky because of the not cleaning it quite as well as you should. And then you could use that to unseat it, unstick it. Yeah, this seems like another thing that probably would have been easier on a warmer day. These hoses and other things are not quite that pliable on these chilly days. All right, this secondary hose right here, right there, and it's got a little pinch clip, which I might need pliers for, and no, I don't, because I apparently still have vice grip fingers. All right, and this little butterfly right here on the clamp makes it really handy to just tighten the clamp up by hand. Don't need any tools at all. I like that. All right, stand this up and see what the hose looks like. We had a paint can right here that would go up and over the edge and right into the paint can. It's as pretty as you can be. See that? That's the bend it came with. Now let's see if I can complete this task with the tools that they sent and not have to dip into my toolboxes at all. Alright, this looks like the 19 monkey meters right here. And the other part is 16 monkey meters. So we'll hold that still with the 16. And no, the 16 doesn't quite fit that. Let's try the other 16. No, it doesn't. The 19 does. All right, so I am dipping into the toolbox. Now it's not that I can't tighten that without holding that, which I can. I just want to make sure that I don't over tighten this other part. So I'm putting my 17 on here. Doesn't have to be a fancy snap-on like I've got. Just any old 17 would probably do. And then you can do the final tighten. Wiggle that a little bit, make sure, because this is the part that is in here that actually does the sealing. So wiggle that, see if I can't get it to right centered, and then hold the 2 wrenches and tighten. Don't want to go McGill-a-Gorilla on this stuff. Just nice and snug. You can always go back if you have a leak and snug it a little bit more. Or the handle. We'll just call it a handle because I don't want the censors to come after me for calling it a paint you know what. We have this fancy extension. It has a nylon seal there. Have to remove that. Can't really get my hand around that. There we go. Don't lose that. Just drops right out. And the round end should go down in there so that the black shows up. All right, I'm going to Teflon these threads too, and I have to get this off to put the hose on. My dad went in the Air Force in 1963. And one of the top secret projects he worked on in the 60s had to do with the development of Teflon tape. He was a rocket specialist. That's going to be difficult. Go. Obviously the 19 came with this is not big enough for that either, but it's so big that it's okay to use just a adjustable on that. Again, don't over tighten this stuff. Double check and make sure everything's down in there. And then point this down. I don't want to flip this up and try to go down there because stuff might fall out. Hold this pointed down. Thread started good. Scotch-Brite. There we go. We should be ready for adjusting and testing. Has a setting for high spray, low spray, prime, and it has a setting for using the roller. Thin for the roller and thick for the roller. So I've got some more of these that I'm going to set on sawhorses and paint with the Vevor airless paint sprayer and put them on the corners like this. And the red's still pretty thick over here, but it's looking kind of thin over here. So in the spring I'll get some more red and I'll try out the Vevor on this wall over here and just redo this wall. Another coat of red on this wall. Well, I haven't had this long enough to speak to the longevity of it, but I can tell you, this little thing makes me feel like I need to line up some bigger projects.
Hey, if you like this video, we got a whole lot more. We got tool reviews, we've got repair videos, we've got show car videos, hot rods, mod rods, you name it. If it's got wheels on it and an engine, it's probably on this channel. So subscribe, like, and binge watch Saneauto. Binge watch Saneauto.